In the name of Jesus. Watch this. There was a woman by name Mary Slessor. Mary Slessor was a powerful young lady from Scotland. She came from the Presbyterian church. And while she was in Scotland, she got to hear that David Livingstone was dead. David Livingstone was a missionary in Africa. This man shook Africa, sharing the gospel, preaching to people, massive conversion. When she was told that David Livingstone was dead, she took up the burden and said, I'm going to Africa. The young lady came to Africa. He had a very poor background. The father was an alcoholic. The mother was just working, in factory, receiving peanuts as salary. But this young lady took up the burden and she began to seek the face of God. God brought her to Africa. And if you have heard about the story of Mary Slessor before, this was a woman that stopped the killing of twins. Now listen to me carefully. There is something you will not see in your social study textbook. There is something you will not see about Mary Slessor in any historical textbook in Nigeria. There is something you will not see. No history can tell you. No textbook can tell you. Only the eyes of the Spirit. And when you start researching and begin to understand that Mary Slessor did not stop the killing of twins by her eloquence. She did not stop the killing of twins by how articulated she was. She did not stop the killing of twins because of the color of her skin. She did not stop the killing of twins because he was untouchable. She did not stop the killing of twins by military might. She never came with any soldier. She stopped the killing of twins by spending time with God. By spending time with God, Mary Slessor will spend hours and he will say, oh Lord, I know with me it is impossible. I know with me 4 hours she needs to pray. 5 hours Mary Slessor will pray. 7 hours she fasts virtually every day. And she kept on crying and seeking God because she knows when she saw the way twins were being killed, she became dissatisfied. And there was no way she could stop this man. There was no way she could disrupt them. They were more powerful than her. They had all the weapons. But there was something she had that this man don't have. There was something she had that traditional men don't have. It is the power to seek the face of God. Mary Slessor will spend hours and cry on her knee. Oh God, I know with me it's not possible. But not with you. Lead me and I will follow you. Lord, lead me and I will follow you. And when God began to lead her, God began to give her strategy. Hear me? When you spend time seeking the face of God, God will give you strategy on how to handle critical matters around your life. When you spend time seeking the face of God, God began to give her strategy. This woman goes around. Sometimes she goes into the forest and she will hear the voice of babies crying who were twins in Efik forest in Calabar. She will hear the voice of little children crying, newborn babies who were thrown away by their parents because they were twins. And she will pick them up and put them on their shoulder. And she will take them to a mud house. She lived in a mud house, but she was a general in the spirit. Mary Slessor sought the face of God and fought with the prince of darkness in Calabar land. The prince that was responsible for the killing of twins. She fought with those spirits and she prevailed. Listen to me, child. When you prevail in prayer, men will honor your word in public. When you prevail in the closest, men will obey your word. Can you imagine this tiny little lady came before the men, the traditional rulers, who were captured by the spirit of superstition, that anyone that has twins is under the curse of the idols of the land. She came to them and she began to talk to them. And she challenged that tradition and she prevailed. Today, we talked about Mary Slessor. But listen to me, it was not a grammar that brought it to reality. It was a prayer life. There was a time he was going to a community where they don't just kill people, they eat human flesh in Calabar. I'm sorry. And they told her, Madam, you will be eating like a meat. She said, Lord, I know with me it is not possible. But I go with you, it is possible. Lead me and I will follow you. Anytime you say, Lord, lead me and I will follow you, you enter into a mood called undestructible mood. When you say, Lord, lead me and I will follow you, you enter into a mood that nobody can kill you. When God is going ahead of you, nothing can stop you. Deuteronomy chapter 9 verse 3. Understand it therefore this day, that it is the Lord thy God that goeth before thee like devouring fire. When God goes before you, he goes before you like a devouring fire. Mary Slessor went into that part of Calabar and it was uneatable. Nobody could eat her because she had conquered them on her knees. When you seek God and spend time with God, you become unconquerable. How do I spend time with God and pray for a very long time? You must understand the place of fellowshipping with God. This has to do with coming to God. Stay with me, I'm rushing now. It has to do with coming to God without any reason for coming. You just come. I want to pray. What do you want to pray about? I don't have anything to pray. No prayer point. You just come. Great is the Lord, and greatly to be praised. You start worshiping him. How excellent is your name. What are you doing? I'm praying. I don't have any prayer points. Sometimes when I come to pray, I just sit and say, Lord, I just like to stay with you. I just like to be with you. I don't know what, I have nothing to tell you. I just want to be with you. I just want to be with you. Fellowshipping with God opens you up to a new dimension. You don't look at your wristwatch. You just stay. When you can put up a mood, you can pray more and pray for a very long time. Number 3, it is called the mood of waiting on God. Psalm 40 verse 1. I waited patiently on the Lord. He heard my cry. He brought me up also out of an horrible pit, out of a merry clay. He sets my feet upon the rock and he established my goings. He puts a new song in my mouth, even a praise unto our God. What does that mean? A particular translation says, I waited and waited. Waiting upon the Lord means to be in a mood that has to do with standing firm on the promises of God. I'm waiting on him. One day will change my story. I'm waiting on him. And because you are waiting on him, you are praying. Now in Isaiah, I think Isaiah chapter 40 verse 31, the Bible says, they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up wings like eagle, and they shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. When you spend time waiting on God in prayer, when you have this mood, you wait on him in prayers, you will spend time more in your prayer time. Number 4, it is called the priestly mentality. Somebody says the priestly mentality. The priest